Good afternoon. The meeting of the MDC hearing examiner for May 26th, 2022 will now come to order. Before I start with the rules of procedure, I have a couple of announcements. If you do have cell phones, be sure they're on silent. And if you need to have conversation, please go out in the hall to do that. Also today, I would like to recognize the loss to this community of Mike Quinn. Mike was a friend. He was a really important part of our land use community and real estate community. I felt like when I was a staff member, he was always a gentleman, and even if we disagreed, he would do so in a manner that was very respectful, and I think that that carried through to his dealings with his clients and opponents and representatives of neighborhood associations. So I just wanted to acknowledge his passing from several weeks ago and extend condolences to his partners and associates and everyone else that knew him. And I think that Murray Clark, who was a longtime friend and associate of his, would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Madam Hearing Examiner. Yeah, I'll be very short. There are people in this room that knew Mike and practiced with him, and staff that interacted with him. What's for those of us who've been around here a day or two, Mike and a handful of other zoning lawyers who you knew well and worked with, and so forth, were active in zoning at a time in the city when things really started to hop. And it was a really amazing time to watch these amazing developments and these amazing professionals, apply their trade. And an amazing time for me to kind of observe them and how you do it, what's the right things to do and not to do. And Mike was right in the middle of it. He mentioned staff. He had this great relationship with staff, I think I can say. And of course, that didn't keep staff from opposing him, right? I mean, that's part of what we all do. And but tremendous, and in Christmas time, I mentioned at church, he used to bring a case of wine up to the staff until somebody said, Mr. Quinn, that's probably not appropriate, right? So I think it was popcorn after that. But anyway, and then another, he used to, as some of and have experienced. I mean, he'd spend 3 or 4 nights a week at neighborhood meetings, which were typically at night, and they'd yell at him. They were contentious even back then, right? Very contentious as the city was changing and so forth. The amazing thing was he was such a kind and good-hearted person with a smile as big as the Atlantic Ocean. They couldn't help but like him, right? So I'd watch him sit in this public assembly room and yell at him and disagree, and then they'd call him and ask for free legal advice and tell him how much they liked him. Couple of things I want to mention about Mike, and I'll sit down. He was a wicked smart fella, Columbia Law School, a great nuts and bolts real estate lawyer, not just zoning, and he won, and we were proud to see him win this 2017 Zeph Weiss Real Estate Practitioner Award, which in our little world is a big deal, I think, is you could say. A couple other big projects back then. He represented the owners in the 1,300-acre McFarland's Farm project on the south side, which was really the start of really the expansion on the south side. And the other one I mentioned at the eulogy was Fort Bend, 1990. The Fort Closure Commission closed the fort, which was not a great thing for the city in the northeast side of Indianapolis. And they hired a planner out of Boston to do a master plan, and then they turned to Mike, right? And Mike made it look easy, and it was not easy. And the master plan looked good on paper, but not so much as a practical matter. So learned a lot from him, and had a lot of friends. He really got married very late in life. I mean, and he spent all these meetings at night, and really his family was the staff and the real estate community and the land use community. That was really kind of his family. That's what he dealt with all over the city. Nice of you to attend his funeral, and appreciate you remembering my friend Mike.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. The hearing today will be conducted in accordance with the rules of procedure of the Metropolitan Development Commission. Each party will have 15 minutes for their original presentation. We will hear the staff recommendation, and then each party will have 5 minutes for rebuttal. Any party who is dissatisfied with the recommendation made today has an automatic right to an appeal. The dissatisfied party must file the appeal with the Department of Metropolitan Development within 5 business days. Additional notice of the appeal is also required to be made to the individuals requiring notice by the MDC Rules of Procedure. All petitions for which I make a recommendation to the Metropolitan Development Commission regarding approval or denial will be forwarded to the Commission meeting on June 15th, 2022. Any commitments agreed to must be submitted to staff no later than Wednesday, June 8th, 2022. We will now begin with special requests, including withdrawals and continuances, and I will ask Nancy to first do the special requests as they are listed on the docket. And Mr. Tui, if you can just hang on a second. Thank you.
I didn't want to follow Mr. Clark anyway.
That's wise.
We have a petition to be withdrawn, 2022 APP 005 at 524 East 16th Street, Center Township, Council District 11.
Madam Hearing Examiner and members of the public, the petitioner for this application did indicate that they would like to withdraw this petition, which would merely require the acknowledgement of the hearing examiner.
Thank you, Eddie. Is there anyone here on 2022 APP 005 at 524 East 16th Street? Okay, I will acknowledge the withdrawal of 2022 APP 005.
Next, we have petitions that have filed automatic continuance to 6/23, that's June the 23rd, 2022. First is 2022 ZON 060 at 8615, 8640, 8721, 8814, 8816, 8840, 8914, 8915 South Arlington Avenue, 5624, 5740, 6000, 6200, 6336, 6376 East County Line Road, and 8700 Coombs Road, Franklin Township, Council District 25.
Good afternoon, Madam Hearing Examiner. I represent the petitioner in the case that Nancy just called, and we just wanted to make certain that that continuance would be to the June 23rd hearing and that there would be no further notice necessary.
Okay, thank you. And is there anyone else here on 2022 ZON 060, various addresses on South Arlington, East County Line Road, and 8700 Combs Road? Okay, Nancy, Kathleen, any additional comments?
Thank you, Judy. Staff had no further comments.
Okay, I will acknowledge the automatic continuance of 2022 ZON 060 to the June 23rd hearing.
We also have 2022 CZN 818 and its companion 2022 CVR 818 at 1105 and 1107 English Avenue, Center Township, Council District 17.
And is there anyone here on that automatic continuance request? Okay, Keith, any comments?
No, this was a timely automatic continuance by a registered neighborhood organization and would just need your acknowledgement.
Okay, so for companion petitions 2022 CZN and CVR 818 on English Avenue, I will acknowledge the automatic continuance of those petitions to the June 23rd hearing. Thank you.
Next, we have petitions for which we've had written requests to be continued to June the 23rd, 2022. First is 2022 ZON 031 at 373 North Holmes Avenue, Wayne Township, Council District 11.
Is there anyone here on that, on petition 2022-ZON-031 on North Holmes Avenue? Okay, Jeff, any comments from staff?
Yes, thank you. Ms. Wirtz Hall, staff would request on the petitioner's behalf to continue 2022 ZON 031 at 373 North Holmes Avenue to your June 23rd hearing. The petitioner is requesting that be with notice, and he also sent an email that the neighbors would like that as well in response to that request. So that would be a for-cause request to June 23rd with notice.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. So I will continue 2022 ZON 031 to the June 23rd hearing, and that will be with notice.
Next is 2022 ZON 059 at 1902 Alvord Street, Center Township, Council District 17.
Good afternoon again, Madam Hearing Examiner. Brian Toohey. My address is 50 South Meridian. We have filed a additional variance request, companion variance request. I think we filed them yesterday or the day before. And so our thinking would be that hopefully staff would generate a new notice for this, and we would then send that out timely for the June 23rd hearing, which we would like to have held.
Okay. Is there anyone else here on 2022 ZON 059 at 1902 Alvord Street? Okay, and Keith?
Staff is in support of the continuance.
And that's with notice?
With notice, yes.
Okay. Does the variance have a number yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
If it does.
Okay. So I will continue 2022 ZON 059 and the companion variance to the June 23rd hearing, and that will be with notice.
Thank you. In the previous case we had on Arlington, that's without notice, as I understood it. Nancy's nodding her head. The case we had, 060, I think was the
Who filed the automatic?
2022 ZON 060.
Right, but who filed the automatic?
Yeah, they did. It was Franklin Township.
Okay.
And so we don't need any other notice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Next are companion petitions 2021 CZN 858 and 2021 CAP 858 and 2021 CVR 858. This is amended petition 5380 and 5390 Rockville Road, Wayne Township, Council District 15.
Good afternoon, Ms. Wirtz Hall. Thank you. This continuance request was made by Councilor Evans, who wrote a letter. His letter had mentioned June 9th, but Kathleen's staff report mentioned June 23rd. Clarifying all of that, we feel the 23rd is the more appropriate date. I do have a call into Councilor Evans, and to be fair to Kathleen, it might take a couple of commitment writing sessions to get him taken care of, which hopefully would be enough time to let her write a report timely for the 23rd.
Okay. Is there anyone else here on companion petitions 2021 CZN, CAP, and CVR 858 on Rockville Road? Okay, and Kathleen?
Thank you, Judy. Staff would just like to explain the fact that the staff report was done prior to receiving the letter from the counselor, and staff was kind of unsure as to what date that would be, so pushed it out there to the 23rd.
And that's without notice?
That is
right?
without notice.
Okay. So I will continue companion petitions 2021 CZN, CAP, and CVR 858 to the June 23rd hearing.
Thank you.
Next, we have companions 2022 CZN 812 and 2022 CVR 812 at 3602 South Harding Street, Perry Township, Council District 20.
Mr. Rittal, excuse me, David Kingan with offices at 618 East Market Street here before you on case 2022 CZN 812 and CVR 812 at 3602 South Harding. We did file a written request to continue this to the June 23rd public hearing, and that would be with or without notice if new notice is deemed needed. We did discuss with staff the changing of the site plan, and which may necessitate new notice, but that site plan is now complete. We're ready to file it. So we do believe we'll be ready to move forward on the June 23rd meeting.
Okay. Is there anyone else here on companion petitions 2022 CZN and CVR 812 at 3602 South Harding Street? Okay, and Keith, additional comments?
Yes, staff is in support of the continuance. We have not seen the site plan yet, but believe that it will be closer to the ordinance than what was originally submitted, and so that new notice won't be needed.
Okay.
If we find out that that is not so, then we will be asking for
Okay.
notice.
So I am going to continue companion petitions 2022 CZN and CVR 812 to the June 23rd hearing, and that will be with notice if required.
Thank you.
Next, we have companions 2022 CZN 813 and 2022 CVR 813 at 5917 Massachusetts Avenue, Warren Township, Council District 13.
Again, Ms. Wurtzall, David Kingan with offices at 618 East Market Street here on 2022 CZN 813 and CVR 813. We also filed a written request continuing this to the June 23rd public hearing, and that is with or without notice. Again, if new notice is required, we are making substantial changes to the request, and we have met with Councilor Graves, and he is arranging us to meet with the local neighborhood association this coming week. So we again do think we'll be prepared to move forward on the June 23rd date.
Okay. Is there anyone here on companion petitions 2022 CZN and CVR 813 at 5917 Massachusetts Avenue? Okay. And Keith, any comments?
Staff is in support of the continuance.
Okay, so I will continue companion petitions 2022 CZN and CVR 813 to the June 23rd hearing, and that will be with notice if required.
Thank you very much.
And we also have a set of companions 2022 CZN 821, 2022 CVR 821, and 2022 CVC 821, and 2022 CPL 821. All asking for a continuance to June the 23rd, 2022.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Wurtzall. Misha Rabinowicz, attorney with offices at 1 Indiana Square, Suite 1800. I represent the petitioner in this case. We had the opportunity to meet with the Broderpool Village Association Land Use Committee on Tuesday night, and they asked that we continue this matter for another month to spend some time considering some of their feedback and making some changes. So we request to continue to June 23rd.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here on companion petitions 2022 CZN, CVR, CVC, and CPL 821 on Cornell and Ferguson? Okay, and Kathleen, any additional comments?
Thank you, Judy. I presume that would be without additional notice.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so I will continue companion petitions 2022 CZN, CVR, CVC, and CPL 821 to the June 23rd hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other requests from the, or are there requests from the audience for continuances, special requests, moving to expedited? All right, does staff have any additional requests?
Thank you, Judy. Staff would draw your attention to the first one under new petitions, 2022 ZON 058, located at 722 East County Line Road and 8808 Shelby Street. If the petitioner's representative is here and is in agreement with the two commitments that staff is included in the staff report, this could possibly be expedited.
Thank you, Kathleen. Is the petitioner here for 2022 ZON 058? If you could come forward and state your name and address, please.
Yes. Yeah, both items we reviewed would be...
Okay, if you could give your name and address, please.
Matt McCall with Suburban Baptist Church at 722 East County Line Road.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, there's both the things that were sent to us we would be in agreement with doing. So that would not be an issue.
So are you good then with moving the petition to the expedited portion of the
Yes.
docket? All right, thank you. Is there anyone else here on 2022 ZON 058 at 722 East County Line Road and 8808 Shelby Street? Okay, so we will move 2022 ZON 058 to the expedited portion of the docket, and we'll hear that in just a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other requests from staff? Okay. We are now going to, we will now consider the petitions on the expedited portion of the docket. These are petitions where staff has recommended approval of the request and staff has not been made aware of opposition to the petitions. If there are remonstrators present for a particular petition or members of the public that object to a petition being recommended for approval or being approved, we will hear testimony before making a decision. Nancy, would you please read into the record all petitions to be expedited? And then once she does that, if everyone involved with those expedited petitions can be sworn in, please.
Yes, first we have the petition that was moved to the expedited list, which was 2022 ZON 058 at 722 East County Line Road and 8808 Shelby Street, Perry Township, Council District 23. Also 2022 ZON 061 at 5940 Kopetsky Drive, Perry Township, Council District 20. And a set of companions, 2022 CZN 825, 2022 CVR 825, and 2022 CPL 825 at 6379 North College Avenue, Warren, Washington Township, Council District 2. Those stand with Ms. Metzel, Mr. Kingen, and Mr. McCall. Thank you. Please raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury to tell the truth and nothing but the truth? Say, I do. Thank you.
So for the petition that was just moved to the expedited portion, 2022 ZON 058. Sir, again, if you could give your name and address, please.
Matt McCall at 722 East County Line Road.
Okay. And Mr. McCall, it's my understanding that you are in agreement with the two commitments listed in the written staff
Correct.
report.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Kathleen, anything further to add to that?
Thank you, Judy. Staff has no further comments.
Okay, so I am going to recommend approval of 2022 ZON 058. That will be heard by the Metropolitan Development Commission on June 15th.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
2022 ZON 061.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Andy Metzel, attorney at the offices of Taft Law, 1 Indiana Square, Suite 3500, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204. on behalf of D&E Kopetsky LLC. And I believe that this has been recommended for the expedited portion of your docket because we are in agreement with the commitments that have recommended by staff. This use is to rezone from I-2 to I-3. It has been an I-3 use effectively since, as far as I can see, back into the mid-1990s, and so we're just trying to make sure that it is conforming with the appropriate zoning.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Metzel. And Keith, do you have any other comments?
Staff has no further comments.
Okay, so I will recommend approval of 2022 ZON 061, subject to the commitment in the written staff report. That will be heard by the Metropolitan Development Commission on June 15th.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And lastly, 2022 CZN 825, CVR 825, and CPL 825 at 6379 North College Avenue.
Again, Ms. Wurtzall, David Kingen with offices at 6180 East Market Street, here before you in 2022 CZN 825, CVR 825, and CPL 825, property at 6379 North College Avenue, representing the Indianapolis Fire Department and the American Legion Lodge. This is a, as you may well know, this is a long sought-after site to relocate the fire station in Broadville. With me today is Chris Hagan from Axis Architecture, who has designed other fire stations throughout Indianapolis and Marion County. Did an excellent job on this. I know you recognize that it's a very tight site, and I think the reflection by the unanimous vote by the Broadville Village Association of these petitions recognizes that they feel also that it fits the site well. We would ask that you grant approval of these, and either I or Mr. Hagan would be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Kingen. Are you in agreement with the commitments requested by staff concerning the variance?
We are.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Allison, do you have any additional comments?
Thank you, Madam Hearing Examiner. No further comments.
Okay. So I am going to recommend approval of 2022 CZN 825. Also, companion petition 2022 CVR 825, subject to the 4 commitments in the staff report. And then for 2022 CPL 825, I am going to approve and find that the plat file dated April 27th, 2022 complies with the standards of the subdivision regulations, subject to the 9 conditions listed in the written staff report. And those petitions will all be heard by the Metropolitan Development Commission on June 15th.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will now hear the petitions that are scheduled for public hearing.
The first petition for public hearing is petition 2022 ZON 027 amended at 7250 North Keystone Avenue, approximate address, Washington Township, Council District 2, Gerber Collision and Glass, requesting a rezoning of 7.20 acres from the D4 and C4 FWFF districts into the C4 FWFF district to provide for automobile service and repair. Will the petitioner, its supporters, and any remonstrators please stand now to be sworn in?
Okay, is the petitioner here? Kathleen, have you had any contact with him?
I have not. What I would suggest is that I would contact them and find out exactly what is going on. And if they don't intend to go forward, then we'll ask that this be dismissed.
Okay. So
we'll continue it for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll continue it to the 9th, is that right? June 9th?
Is Chris Hogan here? Chris Hogan, did he leave, come and go?
No, I thought he was here on the previous petition. I thought he was yeah, he was the architect on the firehouse. Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, is anyone else here on 2022 ZON 027 at 7250 North Keystone? Okay, so I am going to continue 2022 ZON 027 to the June 9th hearing, and then Kathleen, if you could reach out to Mr. Brady, and then if this happens at the next hearing, then we'll just go ahead and dismiss it.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. So I think that just leaves one petition, right?
Yes. The next petition, let's see here, is 2022 ZON 030 at 11,700 and 11,850 East 38th Street and 4002 North Carroll Road. Approximate addresses: Lawrence Township, Council District 14. Petitioners are Keith Russell by Mark and Kim Crouch, requesting a rezoning of 46.2 acres from the DA and D3FF districts to the D5FF district. Will all those intending to testify on this petition, either for or against, please stand now to be sworn in at this time. Please raise your right hand. Anybody else? Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury to tell the truth and nothing but the truth? Say, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Do we have any remonstrators? Okay.
State your name and address and go ahead.
Madam Chairman, my name is Mark Crouch. Address is 124 East Pleasant Run Parkway, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46225. I'm here today representing the owner, Keith Russell, for the rezone of the 46.2 acres from the DA D3 to the D5 classification. I have read staff's recommendations for commitments. We are in agreement. Additionally, we have a adjacent property owner that has some additional commitments that she has provided to staff. There we have met with her today, and we have a slight adjustment to commitment number 2. Instead of 3 acres would be 2 acres, and with the height of an additional fence required for her privacy from 6 foot to 5 foot. With that, we believe we have her agreeing, and we are okay with the commitments, and I would defer to staff for their comments.
So I have a couple questions. She's not here, right?
Melissa is here.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Good. Yes, Ms. Webb, if you wouldn't mind coming forward, please. And
Yes.
state your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Melissa Webb, and I live at 3890 North Carroll Road.
Okay, thank you. So, I just want to, since what I have still says for commitment number 2, it still refers to 3 acres, I want to make sure that you are in agreement with the 2 acres.
Yes, at this time I am, yes.
Okay, and then where was the other commitment about the
Commitment
fence?
6, from a 6-foot to a 5-foot fence
Okay.
on top of the berm. It's commitment 6, and there's 3 corrections on that one. Just 6s to 5s.
Okay, thank you.
And everything else stays the same.
All right, did you have anything else that you wanted to say about the petition?
No, but I have a question. When it comes time to plat this out, the future development or the developer has to go by these commitments, correct?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct. So,
And go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, as long as this, well, yes, if these commitments are approved as part of the petition, then they're recorded and they are going to run with the land.
Okay, awesome.
That's correct.
Now, in the future, can those be changed, and how would they be changed if it was requested?
So, and Kathleen will correct me if I'm wrong, but they would have to file an approval petition to modify commitments. That requires notice to everybody entitled to notice, signs on the property again, and another public hearing. So that's not something that can be done without that public hearing process.
Okay.
Is that right, Kathleen?
That is correct.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
No, not at this time.
Okay. And the gentleman sitting in the back is not here to speak, is that correct? Okay. All right. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add, Mr. Crouch?
No, we are okay. Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else want to speak on behalf of this petition? Okay. Are you here, sir, are you here for a petition? No. Okay. So I did want to put on the record that I had a letter from Mark Rumreich, the president of the Indian Lake Improvement Association, and this letter is dated May 24th. It's part of the staff record. And in the letter, I'm just going to summarize, he said that their neighborhood takes an interest in this rezoning because all the stormwater runoff from this property enters Indian Lake. O'Brien Ditch drains this property to the south and west, and that ditch is a tributary to Indian Creek, the inlet to Indian Lake. The Indian Lake Improvement Association's position is that D5 is an inappropriately high density so they did write a letter of opposition, but apparently he did not come to the hearing. So unless there's any other testimony from the audience, Kathleen?
Thank you, Judy. You'll note that staff is recommending approval of this, and as noted in the staff report, the land use for this is the airport mixed use, but there's really no definition in the plan for that. However, because of the surrounding land uses, staff believes that this would be compatible with those. It's residential in that area, and staff believes it would be compatible with that surrounding area. Staff would like to make a couple of comments about the fact that the rezoning is just simply a rezoning. There was a site plan that was submitted, but it was not included in the staff report because it was filed years ago and has been changed. From what it did was show some multifamily there on the southeast corner, and it's my understanding that's not going to be in. It's going to be all the D5, all single-family dwellings. So staff did not include that in the staff report, but just wanted to make sure, or just confirm that, in fact, what was submitted on that site plan is not what is being approved today. Additionally, there is the Mount Comfort Airport there to the east, and it would be incumbent on the petitioner and their representative to contact them to see if they fall within that noise that would be, that they would, in that noise area of the airport. Those maps were included in the staff report. But again, with that, staff is recommending approval and would answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Kathleen. Have you received any phone calls either for or against?
The only, and I received Melissa and I exchanged a number of emails, and I appreciate what she has done and put these together, and that protects her interests, but that would be the only ones.
Okay, so aside from the letter from Indian Lake Improvement Association, did they have any?
No, I have not heard from them.
Did they indicate they plan to attend the hearing, or they just were going to send a letter to
Apparently,
state
they are the ones that filed the automatic continuance, and with that was the last time I had heard from them until we received that letter.
Okay, all right, thank you. So, Mr. Crouch, to follow up on Kathleen's comment, today we're just simply approving the rezoning petition, and then you would have to go through the plating process for that. Is that your understanding?
Correct. And to clear up or add a little more, I did speak with the Indian Lakes representative, and I told him that at this time we were just looking for the rezoning, and then when we were going work with staff for the proposed subdivision, and that would be the appropriate time that we would address all of their drainage concerns and make all those adjustments that they might need or meet their requests as best as we could at that time.
Okay, great. I appreciate you keeping them in the loop on that. You have 5 minutes for a rebuttal if you'd like to use it.
We're happy for your favorable vote.
Okay. Anyone else have any rebuttal? All right. Well, yes, and I echo Kathleen's compliments to Ms. Webb for taking the time and the initiative to work with the petitioners and, really find out what's going on. And that's the way to do it, is to have conversation. And if you can come to an agreement, that's fantastic. And if not, then that's okay too. So I appreciate you doing that. So I am going to recommend approval of 2022 ZON 030. That will be heard by the Metropolitan Development Commission on June 15th.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there any other business before us today? This is to make up for our 3.5-hour hearing last time. All right, we are adjourned.